Hello everyone, CTX Prospector here. Good evening, nice cold night in northern Michigan. Great time to be going over a few things for this coming spring. I wanted to share with you this evening my experiences with a particular park in my area. And I did my research prior to hunting this park, probably, I think it was 2014. And didn't know what I'd find. Thought maybe it'd be completely hunted out and that I would be, digging nothing but pull tabs or whatever. But anyway, that wasn't the case. I did find a slew of silver. I call this a slew. I think it's most of what I found. May not be all inclusive. Got a couple Indian heads, buffalo nickel. But anyway, my point that I wanted to kind of share with you is my experiences of how what I'm calling trash to treasure is this particular park I kept coming back to, and I kept finding silver, and I'd find like a dime a hunt, and it was always one dime a hunt. It used to drive me crazy. I did eventually find 2 dimes in one hunt, and I did eventually find I think 3/4 total in this particular park. But what was really interesting, and I had watched videos and I had read about and in forums and whatnot about detectorists that were going, and they kept pounding a park, and they're like, I know this park's been pounded, I've pounded it, and I keep coming up with silver. I'm going slower, I'm more methodical, I'm putting a smaller coil on, I'm digging trash, I'm digging iffy signals, I'm pulling out dimes and so on and so forth. And I found that to be true. Hands-on experience as I started to learn the hobby is that this particular park was just like that. I found a few dimes, I dug a lot of trash, and I kind of hit rock bottom, wasn't finding a lot of silver, decided to dig more trash, because you get a little bit desperate after a while, right? I mean, you start to say, okay, I'm digging every signal I hear. So I did, and I found that I was digging trash, but when I was digging trash, I was also starting to stumble upon more silver dimes. And the more I started to clean, the more I was finding treasure, let's say. And all of these markers, whether they're red or white, they are all silver. I think I've got one silver ring, that I found out here in the baseball diamond. But everything else is silver dimes, and I've got 3/4, and a lot of Mercuries, Roosevelts, so on and so forth. But it was really fun because it is true. You can dig the trash to get to the treasure. And it is worth going back to those parks at a different time, different season. The soil's different. They talk about moist soil, dry soil, everything in between, and just how your detector wants to behave that day, what kind of mood you're in. Sometimes I've gone to the park, I've been in a little bit of a hurry, I got an hour and a half. Sometimes I go, I've got the day, and maybe I've got a couple different sites that I want to hunt. And it just depends on as you have probably noticed, your psyche seems to have a little something to do with your finds. And if your brain is somewhere else, or you're, like I say, if you're rushed or whatnot, I found it to be interesting that had an effect on my hunts, and not always in a positive way. So, but anyway. Alrighty, well, that's all I really wanted to share with you tonight, is that I'm thinking about parks. It's wintertime here in northern Michigan, and it's got me thinking a lot about this kind of stuff. I'm going to definitely go back out here to Bowers Park and see if I'm thinking I can pull more silver out of there. And I'm gonna completely canvas it again, and I'm gonna chuckle, and I will. I'll pull some more silver out of there, and the chuckle, because it seems to be certain parks. I'm sure you have them in your neighborhoods. They seem to just breed silver dimes, a lot of dimes. I get dimes, silver dimes everywhere. Quarters not so much. They're a little larger. I think they've been cherry picked, but the dimes are a lot of fun. So anyway, love the XChange2 software real quick. Didn't think much of it when I bought my CTX, and I found it to be really, really cool. And the way it kind of overlays over Google Maps or Earth, and dynamite. What a great way to do your hunts. And I've made all kinds of folders here on the ocean shorelines, parks, wherever. It's worth a little bit of time. Get your CTX, go ahead and set up the hunt. download it whenever you get around to it, or in my case, with the CTX, which doesn't hold a lot of hunts, it holds a good fair amount, but it isn't like memory. You can just, pop more in. So try to get that, downloaded before my hunt that I'm halfway through and it says it's full. But anyhow, that's for a different video. Hey, y'all have a great evening. Keep hunting, get your nerd on, and get out there and do some metal detecting, okay? Like, comment, and subscribe. See you later. Thanks.